They say time heals. Liars. Time doesn't heal anything. You just learn how to hide the pain better. You get quieter, smarter, deadlier. You walk through hell so many times, it starts to feel like home. And one day, you realize nobody's coming. Nobody's gonna pull you out. That was the first damn lesson. You crawl or you burn. That's it. You either die in the fire or you become it. I stopped looking for a hand to hold a long time ago. Started building claws instead, sharp ones, the kind that rip through fake love and empty words. I've been betrayed more times than I can count, smiled at by people who had knives behind their backs, watched people I would have died for walk away like I was nothing. And the crazy part, I still stood there, still breathing, still bleeding, still watching their shadows disappear, while the silence screamed louder than their lies ever did. People think strength is muscles and noise. Nah. Strength is carrying your own damn coffin every day and daring the world to bury you in it. Strength is not reacting when your name is dragged, when your heart is broken, when your soul's on the floor and your mind's screaming to let go. You don't break. You grind your teeth and keep walking like the devil owes you money. That's power. I learned the hard way. Nobody respects a good man until he turns cold. Nobody respects the loyal until he cuts contact. They only understand your value after they lose access. And that's the curse of being solid. You carry everybody until you realize no one's ever gonna carry you. You become your own savior, your own shelter, your own damn war. I ain't bitter, I'm real. There's a difference. Bitterness comes from weakness. Realness comes from survival. When you've tasted betrayal from the ones you protected, when you've been left in pieces after giving everything, that's not bitterness, that's awakening. That's when you stop crying for them and start building for yourself. Silence became my answer, pain became my mentor, and solitude became my power. They think I'm lonely? Nah, I'm focused. I got rid of distractions dressed as love. Cut ties with people who only came around when it was convenient. I became allergic to inconsistency. Now if you shake my hand and your soul's fake, I feel it. Energy don't lie. Smiles do. You think it's weakness to feel too much? To love too deeply? Nah, that's a warrior's curse. We fight hardest for the ones who throw us into battles. We bleed the most for those who wouldn't even carry our wound. But that's over now. My empathy got limits. My kindness got conditions. My peace got a price. You can't sit at my table unless you brought scars too. If you've never been broken, You can't talk to me. You don't speak my language. I used to wait for apologies, for closure, for people to realize what they lost. But now, I move in silence. If you lost me, you lost loyalty. You lost realness. You lost a heart that would have gone to war for you. You lost something you won't find twice. That's your karma, not my business. And the silence, that's where the transformation happens. That's where I became dangerous, not angry, not emotional, focused. I found my peace in the fire. I found my clarity in the chaos. And now, I don't seek revenge. I let karma eat with patience. I don't need to raise my voice anymore. My presence speaks. My absence teaches. You know what I realized? The strongest ones are always alone. Not because they want to be, but because they see too much, feel too deep, give too much, and expect too little. They're the ones who wipe their own tears in the dark and come out smiling in the light. They're the ones who'll save the world but drown in silence, and nobody sees it until they disappear. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be remembered, not for the noise, but for the storm I carried quietly, for the strength I built in isolation, for the chaos I survived without a witness. That's my legacy. That's my revenge. That's my truth. And I don't need applause for that. They'll never understand what it costs to keep standing when your world's already fallen apart. They see the strength, the silence, the control, but they don't see the war that built it. They don't see the nights I stared at the ceiling asking God why I keep surviving storms meant to kill me. They don't hear the internal screams when you realize the people you would have died for didn't even flinch while watching you drown. That's the kind of pain that doesn't make you weaker. It turns you into something else, something unrecognizable, something sharp. You stop begging to be understood. You stop bleeding for people who never learned how to heal you. You stop showing up for people who don't even notice when you're gone. That's when the shift happens. That's when you go from a man who gave love to a man who gives lessons, not out of cruelty, out of clarity. You see, there's power in isolation. You start to hear things, not from the world, from yourself. You start realizing what you were chasing was never real. That love you fought for, it was just convenience wrapped in manipulation. That friend you would have killed for, just a shadow that vanished when your light went out. I watched every fake soul fall away when I went quiet. And I didn't chase. I didn't ask why. I didn't beg them to stay. Because truth is, I was never hard to love. They were just too small to handle depth. They wanted shallow. They wanted easy. I gave them loyalty. I gave them my soul. And they gave me absence. Good. Now they're watching from a distance, watching the version of me they created. The one who stopped explaining, stopped forgiving, stopped showing up. Let me tell you something about being alone. It's where the legends are born. It's where real men are forged. Anybody can smile in a crowd. Anybody can pretend to be tough when they got back up. But sit with your demons. Sit with your regrets. Sit with the silence that reminds you how many times you were left behind. If you can rise from that, you're not human anymore. You're a storm. And storms don't explain themselves. They come, they destroy, and they leave everything different. That's who I became. That's who I had to become, not because I wanted to, but because the world doesn't respect softness. It devours it. So I burned that softness and forged a new skin. Now I don't speak much. I move. I act. I let silence do the talking, and trust me, silence speaks louder than love ever did. People look at me now like I changed. Damn right I did. I evolved. I shed skin after skin, pain after pain. I rebuilt myself from ashes. So many times I started liking the smell of smoke. I don't trust easy anymore. I don't give access to people who haven't bled for me. My circle, damn near a dot now. And I like it that way. No snakes, no liars, no energy leeches, just me, focused, hungry, dangerous. I don't care about status. I don't need validation. I don't want love that's conditional. Give me loyalty or get out the way. Give me real or stay silent. And if you ever doubted me, good. Doubt built this. Disrespect fueled this. Every door slammed in my face just gave me bricks to build my own damn castle. Don't mistake my silence for weakness. Don't think for 1 second that my calm means I forgot. I didn't. I remember everything. Every insult disguised as a joke. Every promise that was broken. Every time I was left unseen, I remember. I just don't react the same anymore. I let time expose what my words never could. I let karma finish the conversations I walked away from. And you know what? That's the real power. Walking away when you could destroy them. Choosing peace when you earned revenge. That's strength they'll never understand. Because it takes a real warrior to carry rage without using it. I could have burned it all down. I chose to build instead. Build in silence. Build in pain. Build in the kind of discipline that turns wounds into weapons. I don't need crowds. I don't need cheers. I don't need followers. I walk alone because I was born to. Because God made me this way. Built different, wired for solitude, forged in storms. And while they laugh, while they gossip, while they try to figure me out, I'm moving. While they sleep, I'm building. While they're distracted, I'm evolving. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them pretend they're ahead. Time will reveal everything. And when it does, don't call me, don't come back. Don't try to act like you always believed in me. I ain't bitter, I'm just not stupid anymore. I gave too much, I loved too hard, I forgave too fast. That version of me is gone. He died in the fire. What you see now is what came out of it. The world don't hand out trophies for survival. But I don't need a trophy. I am the proof. The proof that even after the betrayal, the heartbreak, the silence, the abandonment, you can still rise. Stronger, colder, smarter, alone, but never broken. That's what makes me different. That's what makes me dangerous. That's why they whisper when I walk in, because they know I was forged in a place they wouldn't last a day. They don't get it. They think being alone means you're broken. Nah. Being alone means I'm free. Free from fake love. Free from expectations I never agreed to. Free from carrying people who never had the strength to walk on their own. I stopped showing up where I wasn't respected. I stopped over-explaining myself to the ungrateful. And most of all, I stopped breaking myself into pieces to make others feel whole. You know how painful that is? Watching yourself crumble just so someone else can stand a little taller next to you. That's the kind of pain that doesn't scream. It whispers. It eats at you. Until one day, you snap. Not loud, not violent, just gone. Silent, cold, unreachable. That's where I live now. In that silence, in that distance where nothing touches me unless I allow it. And I don't allow much anymore. Because I learned every betrayal was a teacher, every heartbreak was a chapter, and every time someone left, I got better. Not bitter, better. I upgraded, I cut dead weight. I stopped giving first chances, let alone second ones. I watched how people acted when I had nothing, when I was struggling, when my world was falling apart behind a smile. You know what I found? Most people love you until it's inconvenient, until your pain starts affecting their comfort. That's when they bounce. That's when the masks fall off. That's when you see them for what they are. Seasonal, not solid. And once you learn that, you stop begging people to stay. You just hold the door open wider and let them leave quicker. I stopped being available for the draining, the confused, the selfish. I don't answer every call. I don't reply reply to every message. I don't entertain people who think I'm replaceable. Because the truth is, I am rare. And that's not ego, that's math. People like me don't come often, loyal even after betrayal, soft-hearted even after heartbreak, real even when surrounded by fake. That's rare, and rare gets taken for granted when it's too available. So I made myself scarce. I made myself expensive. I made myself the kind of man you don't just get, you earn. With loyalty, with consistency, with energy that doesn't shift with the wind. Let me tell you about loyalty. It's the last real currency left in this world. And it's bankrupt everywhere. People will rock with you when you're winning, but disappear the second you fall. That's not loyalty, that's convenience. Real ones? They ride through the storm with you. They bleed with you. They don't flinch when the world turns its back. But how many of those have I met? Not many. Maybe none. That's why I don't complain about being alone. That's why I don't crave company anymore. I'd rather walk alone in truth than dance with snakes in disguise. I became addicted to silence, because silence showed me who I am. It stripped everything away. The lies, the noise, the people who pretended. And what was left? A man made of fire and grit. A man who doesn't fold, doesn't beg, doesn't chase. A man who can stare at pain and not blink. That's not numbness, that's mastery. That's what happens when you bleed enough. You become bulletproof. You stop fearing heartbreak because you've already survived worse. You stop fearing loss because you've already lost the world and kept breathing. That's where I live now. On the other side of fear. On the other side of emotion. I don't react. I calculate. I don't trust blindly. I observe. I let people show me who they are with time. And when they do, I believe it the first time. The strongest are always alone, not because they want to be, but because the world's too soft for their kind of truth. We don't fit in. We don't blend. We stand out, not for the image, but for the fire behind our eyes, for the demons we dance with, for the pain we've carried. You ever seen a man with nothing left to lose? That's me. And that's freedom. That's danger. Because I'm not afraid to start over. I'm not afraid to lose people. I'm not afraid to cut ties that choke me. And most of all, I'm not afraid to be misunderstood. Let them talk. Let them twist the story. I know the truth. And that's all I need. I don't play games anymore. I don't entertain chaos. I don't explain myself to the blind. My energy is sacred now. My time is gold. And if you come into my space, you better come correct. Because I'm not who I was before. That man is gone, buried under betrayal, pain, and silence. What's left is something else, something colder, something wiser, something that doesn't blink when the world burns. Because I've already burned once, and I walked out of the ashes smiling. They keep asking, why are you so distant now? Like they don't remember the exact moment they taught me to stop reaching out. Like they forgot how they left me hanging when I needed them the most. Let me tell you why I'm distant. Because I learned the hard way that people don't value presence. They only value absence. As long as you're always there, always available, always ready to give, they'll take you for granted. But the moment you go quiet, the moment you disappear, the moment you stop giving, that's when the questions come. That's when the fake apologies show up. Not because they love you, not because they care, but because they hate losing access to someone who made them feel important. It's not you they miss. It's the way you treated them. And I'm not in the business of giving out that kind of energy anymore. I don't love the way I used to, not because my heart's gone, but because it's guarded now. It's been through too much. It's buried in armor. I used to believe that if you just love people harder, deeper, stronger, they'd never leave. I was wrong. Love doesn't stop betrayal. Kindness doesn't stop disrespect. Loyalty doesn't stop abandonment. All it does is make you the perfect target for those who've never learned how to love in return. And once you realize that, once it clicks, something inside you changes. You stop offering love as a lifeline. You start offering silence as a boundary. You stop trying to heal others and start protecting yourself. That's where I'm at. And if they call it cold, let them. Because the warmth they took for granted is gone, extinct, dead. People love to talk about healing, but no one tells you that healing isn't beautiful. It's not peaceful. It's not soft music and journal pages. Healing is brutal. It's lonely. It's crying at 3 a.m. with no one there to wipe your tears. It's waking up with a heart so heavy it could sink the ocean, and still showing up, still grinding, still breathing. Healing is war, a silent war, where every step forward feels like dragging yourself through glass. But you keep going, not because it's easy, not because it's rewarding, but because there's no other choice. You either fight through it, or you stay broken. And I didn't come this far to stay broken. Let me say this loud. I don't want people around me who only check in when they feel like it. I don't need half-love, part-time loyalty, or temporary commitment. If you can't match the energy I bring, stay away. I've carried too many relationships by myself. Been the only one trying, the only one showing up. That version of me is retired, dead, and buried. I've got a whole new blueprint now. If your presence brings chaos, confusion, or emotional debt, I don't care who you are. You're gone. No warnings, no second chances, just gone. Because I refuse to be drained again by people who don't even notice when I'm the one bleeding. I built myself in silence, brick by brick, while everyone thought I was falling apart. I took every insult, every betrayal, every backstab, and I turned it into fuel. People don't know the kind of rage it takes to rebuild yourself while pretending you're okay. They don't see the nights you scream in your head just to get through the next day. They don't see the moments you stare at your reflection and ask yourself how the hell you're still standing. But here's the truth. I'm still standing because quitting ain't in my blood. Folding isn't part of my nature. You don't survive this kind of pain unless there's something primal in you. Something that refuses to die. Something that fights back, even with no strength left. So yeah, I'm alone. But I'm solid. I don't second guess myself anymore. I don't look for approval. I don't search for belonging. I am the storm I needed. I'm the protector I never had. I'm the loyalty I used to beg for. I'm not looking to be saved. I'm the savior now. Of myself. Of my sanity. Of my peace. And that's what scares them. They used to control me with guilt. With emotions. With silence. But now, I control the silence. I weaponized it. I turned it into armor. And when I go quiet now, it's not because I'm weak. It's because I'm calculating, watching, deciding who's worth a word and who's not worth even a glance. And I'm done explaining, done defending, done making excuses for people who failed me. You either come correct or don't come at all. I'm not hard to love. I was just too easy to use. And now I'm the man they warned you about. The man who loves with boundaries, who gives with caution, who trusts like a sniper. Slow, calculated, and only once. If you break it, it's done. No repairs, no glue. Just silence. That's where the real ones live. In that silence. In that sacred, solitary space. Where the strongest always are. Not because they want to be alone, but because it's the only place that doesn't lie to them, doesn't use them, doesn't break them, just holds them, quietly, powerfully. And I'd rather stay there forever than ever go back. They always said, "You're too intense." Number, I'm just real. That's what bothers them. My intensity is the absence of games, the absence of lies, the absence of small talk and fake smiles. It's the raw, unfiltered truth I carry in my chest like a weapon. And most can't handle that. They're used to surface-level conversations, empty promises, half-hearted connections. So when someone like me comes along, someone who sees through the mask, someone who doesn't just listen but hears, it terrifies them. Because you can't fake it around a man who's been through the fire. You can't sell illusions to someone who's lived through nightmares. That's why they leave. That's why they flinch. I became a mirror, and they hated what they saw in their reflection. You want to know what loneliness really is? It's not sitting in a room by yourself. It's sitting in a room full of people and realizing none of them truly see you. None of them understand the war you fight behind your eyes. That's real loneliness. When you smile out of politeness, but your soul is screaming for someone to just get it. And no one does. So you stop trying. You pull back. You become distant. Cold, maybe. But not cruel. You're just tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of hoping. Tired of giving people maps to your heart just to watch them get lost on purpose. So you'll stop giving directions. You build walls. You armor up. And now they call you heartless. Because you stopped letting them hurt you. But I'm not heartless. I've just learned the difference between love and dependency, between support and manipulation, between loyalty and obligation. I've seen what it looks like when people only show up when they need something. When their love is conditional, calculated, temporary. You learn to read between the lines real quick when your peace has been used as a playground. And now I protect my energy like it's the last thing keeping me alive. Because it is. I don't let just anyone close. You gotta earn proximity, and most won't. Because most only know how to take. They don't know how to stay. I used to ask, what's wrong with me? Why do people walk away? Why do they lie? Why do they use me? But now I know. It wasn't me. It was the fact that I saw them too clearly. I saw the cowardice behind their confidence, the emptiness behind their charm, the weakness behind their anger. And people hate being seen like that. So they leave. And I let them. Because I'm not chasing ghosts anymore. If you can walk away from me, you were never meant to be near me. I'm not for everyone, and I stopped trying to be. They talk about real ones, but they don't want real. They want convenience wrapped in loyalty. They want access without effort. They want someone to fix them without ever facing themselves. But that ain't me. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your rebound. I'm not your emotional punching bag. I'm the man who rebuilt himself with no help. I'm the one who turned pain into power, silence into strength. And if that intimidates you, walk away now, because I've got no room for the weak-hearted in my world. You see, solitude didn't break me. It revealed me. It peeled back every layer I used to hide behind. Took away every excuse, every distraction, every voice but my own. And in that silence, I met myself. Not the version others wanted, not the mask I wore to survive. The real me. The one who doesn't beg, the one who doesn't fold, the one who doesn't wait to be chosen, because he already chose himself. That's the man I became, and there's no going back. I know now, I'm not hard to love, I'm just not easy to use. I bring depth in a world addicted to surface. I bring intensity in a world that fears emotion. I bring loyalty in a world that trades it like currency. So if that makes me too much, so be it. I'd rather be too much than be like them, hollow, aimless, forgettable. They'll remember me, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day when they're surrounded by noise and still feel empty, they'll remember the silence I brought that made them feel whole. They'll remember the man who would have gone to war for them if only they hadn't betrayed him during the peace. And by then, I'll be too far gone, too healed, too high up to hear their apologies. And the door they closed will be nothing but a wall now. Thick, cold, permanent. Because the strongest are always alone, and I'm okay with that now. They always come back, not because they miss you, but because they miss the way they felt around you. The way you made them feel like they mattered, the way you held space for them when no one else did. But when it was your turn, when you were the one breaking, dying inside, they disappeared. Silence, excuses, vanishing acts. And you sat there staring at your own reflection, wondering how the hell someone could switch up so easily. Wondering how people you prayed for were the same ones hoping you'd fall. That's the sickness of this world. People romanticize loyalty, but they don't live it. They preach love, but only when it's easy. The moment you become difficult, when you need something real, they vanish, like you never meant a damn thing. So yeah, I got colder. I don't even deny it anymore. That softness, that openness, it's gone, and I don't apologize for it. Because the world doesn't apologize for what it did to me. It didn't say sorry when it broke me. It didn't send flowers when I buried versions of myself trying to meet expectations I never agreed to. It didn't cry when I cried. So I stopped crying for it. I stopped hoping. I stopped lowering my standards to fit into places that couldn't hold my worth. Now I build my own table. I sit with my own silence. And if I let you in, you better believe it's not by accident. It's because I saw something rare in you, something real. But most of the time, I don't let anyone in, because I trust patterns, not promises. I trust actions, not words. I trust pain, because pain never lies. You see, when you've been alone long enough, you start seeing everything differently. You stop chasing closure. You stop needing validation. You stop arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You just detach, quietly, slowly, ruthlessly. Not because you don't care, but because you finally understand. Peace is more important than being right. More important than proving your worth to those who never saw it. More important than explaining yourself to people who already made up their mind about you. You get to a point where your silence becomes your shield, your sword, your language. You don't scream anymore. You whisper with your distance. You speak volumes without saying a word. That's power. That's the level they can't touch. And I've tasted every shade of betrayal. I've looked into eyes I thought were home, only to realize they were just mirrors reflecting my desperation back at me. I've held hands with people who were only holding on until something better came along. I've loved people who treated my heart like an option. So don't ask me why I'm harsh now. Don't ask why my boundaries are brutal, why my standards are cold. Because when you've been burnt enough, you stop lighting matches for anyone who won't even shield you from the wind. I've seen how temporary people can be. One minute they're calling you family. Next minute they're talking behind your back, like you were never real. One minute they swear they'll never leave. Next minute they ghost you like loyalty was a seasonal trend. I'm done being surprised by it. People change, not because they grow, but because their mask slips. And I'm done collecting masks. I want real, unfiltered, unapologetic. And if you can't bring that, don't come near me. I stopped asking for loyalty from people who can't even be honest with themselves. I stopped asking for love from people who only know how to take. I stopped asking for support from people who vanish every time the skies turn gray. And I started relying on the one person who never left me. Me. I carried me through nights that should have ended me. I healed myself with no blueprint. I rose from ashes no one even saw. I walked out of hell with scars they'll never understand. and now they wonder why I walk the way I do. Like I've got nothing to lose. It's because I already lost everything and survived. That kind of survival builds a different breed, a different soul, a different fire. You don't beg, you don't explain, you don't flinch. You move different, you think different. You cut off people mid-sentence, the moment their energy shifts. You let go the second piece feels threatened. You don't do warnings anymore, just disappearances, and they'll feel it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but the silence you leave behind will echo louder than any goodbye ever could. So let them say you changed. Let them call you heartless. Let them paint you as the villain. They'll never admit they turned you into this. That their selfishness, their absence, their betrayal built you. But deep down, they know. Every time they see you silent, every time they see you succeed without them, every time they realize the door they slammed became a wall they can't climb. You want to know where the strongest are? Look for the ones walking alone, head down, heart guarded, mind sharp, energy sacred, and eyes that don't flinch anymore. You'll find us in the dark, and we're doing just fine. You know what they don't tell you about being strong? That it's not a choice, it's a sentence. It's not this glamorous badge they make it out to be. It's waking up every day when your soul is tired and your heart's heavy, and still putting your feet on the ground like nothing's wrong. It's not having the luxury to break down, because no one's gonna pick up the pieces if you do. It's carrying weight that wasn't yours to carry. It's putting yourself back together, silently, because no one even noticed you were falling apart. Being strong means suffering in silence. It means bleeding behind a smile. It means becoming your own damn hero every single day, because no one else ever showed up. And after a while, you stop expecting them to. You stop looking at your phone, waiting for someone to check in. You stop hoping that someone will read between the lines of your "I'm fine." You stop waiting, because you finally understand that some people don't love you. They love how you love them. They don't care about your scars. They just care that you're still standing. And when you fall, when you finally collapse under the weight of it all, they disappear. They go quiet. They tell themselves, he's strong, he'll be okay. And that's the curse of strength. You become so good at surviving, they forget that you're human. But I remember every time I cried and wiped my own damn tears, every time I fell and no one reached out, every fake "I'm here for you." that turned into radio silence the moment I needed proof. Every hand I held that let go when the fire got too hot. I remember it all, and that's why I'm different now. I don't ask, I don't explain, I don't beg. I observe, I measure, I test, and if you fail, you're gone. I don't do second chances with energy, because my energy is gold. It's been purified through pain, through war, through betrayal. I don't give it to just anybody anymore. There's a kind of peace that comes with letting go. When you finally stop trying to fix everything, when you finally accept that not everyone deserves access to your light, you start to breathe different. You start walking with a weightless rage, not the kind that screams, but the kind that burns cold and quiet, the kind that sharpens your focus and numbs your distractions. That's where I'm at now. I've buried enough versions of myself trying to be what others needed. Now, I'm what I need. Ruthless, grounded, unavailable to anyone who doesn't match the fire I carry inside. And people don't like that. They want the version of you that was soft, forgiving, open, the version they could manipulate, drain, disappear on, and return to. But that man is dead, and I mean that with every ounce of my being. I held funerals in silence for every piece of me I had to kill. For the innocence, for the trust, for the hope, buried it all. Now I walk with ghosts, my own, and they remind me daily who I can't afford to be again. The strongest are always alone, not because they lack love, but because they value it too much to hand it out recklessly. Not because they hate people, but because they've seen what people do when given access to your heart. They twist it, take from it, leave it empty, and then wonder why you went cold. They don't realize that silence is a language, that withdrawal is a response, that distance is protection. And when someone like me goes silent, it's already too late. I don't come back. I don't explain. I just vanish. And I watch the panic grow when they realize they lost something they'll never find again.